Alright, hello everyone, and today we will be looking at the plugin MRPremiumAddons, which stands for Mythical Races Premium Add-ons. Now this is a plugin that's an add-on for the base Mythical Races plugin. It is paid, and I will try my best to explain all the features to you so you can use the plugin properly. Without further ado, let's get into it. Now the first thing we do is we're actually going to go into the configuration file. Okay, and the configuration file tells us what to do. Okay, so the first thing it says is make sure you set broadcast console to ops to false inside server.properties. And that's exactly what we're going to do. So before we even do anything with the configuration or anything with the plugin, we're going to immediately go kind of into the server files, and we're going to find something called server.properties, which is right here. So we're going to edit server.properties, and it's telling us to find broadcast console.ops, and it's telling us to set this to false. So we're going to set this to false, and we're going to save it, and we're actually going to restart the server. Now while that's restarting, let's get back into the configuration file for the MRPremiumAddons. We're going to go into plugins, and we're going to our premium add-ons config, and we're going to open this up. Okay, so the only thing I'll explain in this tutorial is the abilities. Okay, that's the only thing I'll really explain. This stuff here you won't really actually need to do at all, like, or really touch it. This is something you already need. But the abilities, this is the main thing here, okay? So I will go through most events, and I will give you examples and just the stuff you need to do and how to use the plugin. Okay, so for the race human, which is here, we're going to have the abilities as these, okay? Our abilities list is over here, and to add a new ability, we can just press enter at the very end here, and press dash space single semi quotation mark, and then a type of ability, okay? The main one many people will be using will be the inflict damage event and the custom ability. A custom ability is pretty much your main event, so you can execute a command for that specific event, and it has a wide range of different options you can do for that. So to tell the plugin that's a custom ability, the first word will be custom ability, and then has 4 dashes, material 4 dashes, and then a command 4 dashes, and then so forth. Okay, so to go through this quickly, first will always kind of be custom ability, unless it's a different type of command or ability, which it can be inflict damage event instead. But just for custom ability, it'll be custom ability 4 dashes, and then material. Now this depends on the actual event type, and we'll get to that very soon. The command, okay, this is what will execute a console command when that a specific condition is met. Okay, this is actually chance. Okay, so material, command, and chance. So if you have like a 50% chance or 100% chance, that's what it means. The milliseconds means that's like the cooldown timer until you can actually do it again. So you can have like a 10,000 millisecond cooldown, so until you can do that specific action again, right? Now self, this can either be two things. It can be self or custom. Self means just apply to the player themselves, or it can apply to nearby entities except for the player themselves. Okay, so I will show you multiple examples of that later in this tutorial, but let's get on to it. Now target, this is part of the custom only, so if this was custom instead of self, then this would actually apply. However, in this case this will not apply because it's just a target. Now the event type, this means it can be one of these. So we have chat, loud event, chat whisper event, is sneaking, is sleeping, enter bed, sleeping, right click block, right click air. These are all your events you can put inside this event type, right? So if you right click air, right, it's going to check if you right clicked air. So if you had a grass block inside of your hand, so if we're going to copy this actually, and we're going to put it all the way right here, oops, we already had something, end it with another semi-quotation mark, okay? So material, we set this to grass underscore block, let's say. Commands, we will say say hello. We can say hello. Chance will be 100% chance. 100, don't put 1,000. And our millisecond, our timer will just be 10 milliseconds. So every 10 milliseconds you can do this, and 10 milliseconds is pretty fast, so pretty much instantaneous. Self, we will replace this as SELF. Self. Target will be all, but this doesn't really apply since this is self. Now the event type, this is really important. We are looking for if the player right clicked the grass block in the air. So we're going to type right click air. Now we're going to save it. We're going to go inside the game now. Wait till everything reloads. We're going to, let me quickly choose if I'm a human. So we are the race human. We're going to set this to day. And right click a grass block in the air. So if we give ourselves a grass underscore block, the config wasn't reloaded. So all you have to do is type /races reload. Press enter. And right click this. Oops. Now we can just reload it. I'll fix that later. It's fine. So if we right click this, it's now going to say hello. Now at the time of recording this plugin isn't actually released yet, but it will be probably once you guys see it. So if we keep right clicking this, it's going to keep saying hello. Okay. And that also can be something really cool. This also can be another different command, like, for example, let's say execute a potion effect or give the player a potion effect. We will use this command instead. So execute at name run, and then if we go a little bit up here, it gives us nice already command that's kind of already given to us as an example for a potion effect, which we will absolutely use because it's right there and it's a lot more simple for us. And we will say it applies poison for us, pretty much. So execute at name, run effect, and then this. Okay. Now we can go here, we can reload the server. And then we can just right click and then see it gives us poison. And it'll go away very soon. Yeah, see, like that. Pretty much. And that gives us the poison for right clicking it. Now another cool example would be, let's say, this other ability right above it actually. The chat whisper event. So what this means is if I say a word, they say for example hello, and that's the trigger word for actually executing the command. So if we look back over here into the ability itself, so custom ability summon golem, this is now the string that you have to say in chat. Because of the chat whisper event, this is now going to apply to this. So if you say summon golem in chat, it's going to summon a golem at your location, but it will not actually say it in chat, if that makes sense. So if I were to save this, actually I don't need to save it, I can just say in chat, so summon golem. It's going to summon a golem first. But you'd realize that no summon golem was actually said in chat. And this was because of the chat whisper event. Chat whisper event differs from the chat loud event. And it just makes everything quiet, or the message quiet. So if we change this to chat loud event, then we'll reload the plugin. And then we can say summon golem. We summoned a golem, but it's also said it in chat. So that's the difference between the chat loud event and the chat whisper event. Okay. Now, let's see here, something else. So right click block, that will also be pretty simple. So if we change this to, let's say, right click block, and then reload again. So it was a grass block, so we're going to right click a grass block, and you see it gave us poison, right? Because we right click a grass block and it gives us the poison. Okay, so this is what it does. All it does is execute a Minecraft command, but it does it in such a way where you can tell it when to actually do this command. And this command, it varies between all Minecraft commands, all plugin commands that you can possibly have on your own server. So you can, the options you actually have using this is like amazing, right? And you can use as many custom abilities as you want. Like, you don't have to have just one right click block. You can have another one, right? It doesn't matter. You can have like 80 of them, right? And it'll still work. So instead of a poison, we can do something like regeneration, right? And we can just reload, confirm, and then let's right click a block. Anyways, we have regeneration and poison, so you can use multiple of these just to execute this one command. Okay, and of course, once again, this is chance. This little 100 here is chance, so we can have like a 50% chance if we put 50, 100 if we do put 100, right? And we can also have the cooldown if we can put that up. That's in milliseconds, of course. It's a millisecond cooldown. Now another one, which personally is one of my favorites, is the custom. And I will do that right now. So we're going to change this to right click air. And instead of summon golem, we'll put grass underscore block. This will be our command set. So we need to find the command we actually want. So what our goal is to actually apply lightning or strike lightning to every entity around us, right? Except for ourselves. And that's our big goal. So the command to actually do lightning, it will be /summon lightning bolt and then the coordinates, right? So obviously this wouldn't work in game, but in plugin wise, the X, Y, and Z followed by these curly brackets will give you the exact location of that entity. So if we copy this, go back into our config, and we're going to keep the execute at run, and then we're going to change the summon command to summon lightning bolt. And we will reload again. Oops, I just spelled it wrong. Let's try to let it clear. And we're gonna summon a chicken. Our chicken will be the test subject. Okay, but actually we're not done yet. We need to tell it to apply to all the entities around you, because if we just right click right now, we're just gonna strike ourselves, right? We don't want to strike ourselves. So we're gonna do, instead of self, it will be custom and then a search radius around you. So let's say a 5 block search radius. So we're gonna have custom and then a number beside it, and that 5 will be our search radius. You can also put 10 or 11 or even like 30 or 20, as long as it's a number, right? So right now we'll do a 5 block search radius. Our targets will be all, so it doesn't really matter, and we'll right click there. Now we're gonna reload. And this poor chicken is now gonna die. See? It hates us. Now it hates us. It hates the chicken. So we're gonna some more. Oops, I keep spamming and I spammed the wrong command. Oops. Just gotta wait till it does that. Let me summon more chickens instead of reloads. So we're gonna summon more chickens, and we're just gonna right click and boom. Okay? See, I right clicked and it smited them. Well, except for myself. Right? And this exactly, so it applies the commands to everyone else except for you. So this is great if you want to play like regeneration, or you want to spawn like a summoned wolf, for example. Like that's tamed. Like, oh, any command you can think of, this is what it could be, right? And you can hear the dog. Okay, so let's see, what else I do? Player consume event. So for example, something like this, we have player consume event. Okay, so player consume event. Once again, we'll change this back to self instead, and we'll change the command to just say hello. Okay, now consume event. If the player consumes, let's say example, a food type, so salmon. Okay, now salmon, we have to eat that to say hello. So we're going to reload, confirm. and we have some cooked salmon. So we're gonna affect ourselves with some what's it called? Hunger. So we're gonna affect, give roasty hunger 200, 100. Okay, so we're gonna eat this now. And the server said hello, because we ate salmon. Okay, that's the player consume event. So usually whenever it's a specific event type, for example, right click block air, right click block, right click air, left click block, left click air, usually it will take whatever string is inside of this as the what's needed to trigger the command. Okay, for example, enter bed, sleeping, exit bed. Is swimming. Is swimming means if you're actually just swimming in the water, it will constantly execute. If you're flying, if you're falling, right? Now, for example, let's do some special cases. These are the toggle commands, okay? So for a toggle command to actually execute this, we'll change it back to right click air, because right clicking air is honestly one of the best things in this plugin. 2, 3, 4. We'll add 4 more of those dashes, and we'll look up here, and we'll have something called repeating or once. Now once means toggle, so toggle command, if you trigger that event again, then trigger the ending command, which is here. So if you look at this string here, we're looking at this nice piece of text here. So trigger command if event, right? And once you trigger the event again, then do the ending command. However, this top one here, it says repeating. So every X amount of ticks, it will keep repeating this command that's over here, right? Until you trigger that event again, and then it will do an ending command. Okay? So for now, we'll do something called the once. So we'll type once and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then say hello. Oh, say ending. My bad, not hello. So now we can actually go in the game. We can reload. And give ourselves, I think it was salmon? Alright, you see hello, right? And we can right click it again, it now says ending. We can right click it, hello, ending. Okay, so this is the start command, that's the end command that was done. We can also just say the name of the player, so name, the curly bracket name is actually the name of the player. Okay. So these all console commands, you're not actually going to execute as the player. If you want to execute as a player, I recommend you download Essentials and use the sudo command from this to actually get your desired result. Now we're going to actually try the repeating instead. So repeating, and then we can have 4 more dashes, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And between the repeating and the ending command, we will have how often the command actually runs. Not the ending command, but the first command. Like how many times it'll say my name per tick. So let's say every 30 ticks, it will say my name, or the in-game name. So we can now reload. Now 30 ticks is 1.5 seconds, 20 ticks is 1 second. So if we right click this now, oops, I was still doing it. So it's going to keep running my name consistently until I right click it again, and now it says ending. And that's that. And that's the repeating, which I think is very useful. And let's see, what else do we do? We can also have something called inflict damage events. This is something that people will like a lot. Not like a lot, but it's just kind of there. So inflict damage event, we'll copy this and we'll put it just below here. And we'll control V it to inflict damage event, and we will give effect poison on the player that was hit. So we're gonna, once again, we're gonna copy this entire line here, and we're just gonna paste it between the 4 dashes and the 4 dashes here. So the inflict damage event is gonna execute this command with a 10% chance of happening, with a 10-second cooldown each time. Well, every 10 seconds is a try. Okay, so you can still fail it, and not get the command, and you still have to reset the timer again. Because if you could just keep trying, you keep right clicking it and keep spamming it until you actually get the command, and it would just be abused. So we're actually going to keep this 100% just for now. And we're actually going to find a nice poor entity to slap. And this nice sheep. Oh, what a lovely sheep. And see, you got poison. We're going to slap it again. Right, and you see, and it died. Right, so now we have poison on our hits. Right, but always never forget the execute at command. Okay, if you don't have this execute at name and then the run, it's never going to run inside the proper world. It's always going to run inside the world or the default world. It's never going to run inside, like, say example, if you're inside the nether or inside the end, right? You always want to have this execute at name command. Okay, so another one is the friendly mobs. Now the friendly mobs is quite self-explanatory. You have some very friendly mobs. So we're going to have a dash, and we're going to type friendly mobs 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're going to have our mob name. Now we're going to have witch. Witches are now going to be friendly to us. If you go to the very top here, it actually has this nice link. It actually has the entity names inside of it. Same with here, it has the material names and the entity names. These two links you will probably need a lot. But in this case, I already got another name, so it's going to be witch. So now we go back inside of here, we're going to reload. We're going to summon a witch. Oh, we're extended and we summoned a witch. And you realize this witch is not attacking us. If we're going to slap it, and he's still not attacking us, this is now a friendly witch. Okay, it's a friendly witch. You don't want to attack us, me, do you? See? With a derpy face with eyes on the side. That's great. So now we have our friendly mob, which is a witch. Now the very last thing we actually have is the projectile event. Now, what this pretty much means is if you're going to shoot an arrow at something, then just kind of, it's going to affect them. So if we're going to have another ability, we're going to control V this, projectile event arrow. So if we're firing an arrow, we are going to, once again, we're just going to apply poison. So we're going to copy this command. And we're going to replace the command here with a 100% chance of occurring. And yeah, that sounds good. So we're going to reload again. We're going to give ourselves a bow, an arrow, and we're going to find ourselves a test subject, which conveniently just spawned in. So now we're going to do right click, please don't die, and see it got poisoned now. And the only reason it's not taking damage is because it's probably going to die if I hit it one more time. Yeah, it was already at the lowest health, that's why it wasn't taking damage from the poison. But you see the poison particles did appear there. So now every time you right click and shoot them with an arrow, this nice command actually runs at their location. Okay, that's what this command really means. If you want to use this plugin, it's highly recommended that you know the basics of Minecraft commands, know the basics of all commands, and you know the basic mythical races configuration, because this plugin doesn't come pre-configured with the mythical races. It gives you the tools and how to use it for your own custom races, right? Like there's some really amazing things you can do with these, right? Like it runs commands on certain events, and you can even affect nearby entities, and there's still, as I said, there's a lot of possibilities I can do, right? Like something I didn't even tell here is the hit player, so you can affect only hit players if you want. Right, these are some variable names, X, Y, and Z, hit player name. Now, we want to keep the log filter to true, okay? We never kind of want to turn it to false. The only reason we keep it to true is just so the console doesn't get cluttered. The plugin will try to hide all the commands it executes, so it isn't annoying for all the users. That's also why it said at the top here, broadcast console to ops is also set to false inside server.properties. Now the thing about this is that this plugin, it doesn't have any commands. It doesn't have a lot of things, okay? But what it does give is a wide range of tools, right? And it's just an add-on onto the base base plugin. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, just or you want something added, just hit me up, corpsd0001, or just join my Discord server. Ask for a certain feature request or how to do something. If you have a certain question, just feel free to ask me. I'm pretty much always here to help. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Have a good one. Let's see. Actually, is there anything else I need to actually say here? I think all of these are pretty self-explanatory, to be honest. Especially with I gave you some examples. But yeah, no, that's pretty much all the news, guys. Thank you. Have a good one. And don't forget to eat your daily potato.